Hello, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a SunPath in Ladybug Tools. So as you can see on my screen, I already have the weather file URL, the download weather component, and the import EPW component. So we'll go to visualize data next, and that's where you can find the SunPath component, and you can go ahead and click that and drop that into your canvas. I already have that in my canvas, so the only input you really need to see the SunPath, to visualize it, is the location from your EPW weather, the import EPW. And then we can go to our Rhino space to visualize our SunPath. This is the most simplest form of the SunPath that you will see. And similar to the windrows, you have north, east, south, and west in a compass. And then you have the months of the year in the arches. So because this is Philadelphia, the SunPath is actually showing towards the south, and because we're in the northern hemisphere, if you're in a country or city in the southern hemisphere, your SunPath will actually look like the flipped version of this, where June in Philadelphia is the topmost arch, and December will be the bottommost arch. Then you have March and September in the middle. So December, January, February, March, April, May, June, and work backwards. And then each of these infinity type symbols are called analemmas, and they are showing the sun's path on a typical day, a typical hour over the course of the year. So I think it starts at noon in the middle, and then it goes into the evening towards the west, and earlier into the morning towards the east. Okay, so now that we know what is contained in the SunPath, let's go back to Grasshopper and see ways that we can manipulate that SunPath. So I'm going to go back to my perspective view. And the first thing we'll talk about is changing the colors of our SunPath. So I already have here a custom preview with the color swatch, and I have two sets of it because I want to do two different colors. So if you look at the daily output and the compass output, in this case I want them both to be black, so I'm going to connect them to my custom preview with the black color swatch. And I'll hit Shift to connect the second element output. And in this case, I want my analemmas to be yellow, so I can make that change pretty quickly. So that's how you can see different colors on the SunPath. If you're a Ladybug Legacy user, Ladybug Tools Legacy, you'll notice that the actual position of the sun no longer shows up here. And that was done intentionally to speed up the rendering time. And in order to see the sun, you need to connect an analysis period, which you can get from section 1, and drop down the analysis period. So I already have an analysis period here that connects to the hour of years. So I have from January 31st, 9 a.m. to January 31st, 11 a.m., just 3 hours. We'll connect the hours of years. You can see there's 3 data points in there. And I'll connect it there, and you'll see that a X shows up at those locations. If you want to visualize those as spheres, we need to actually add a script to do that. So the first thing you want to do is find the component for a mesh sphere, and drop that into the canvas. And anytime you add this component, it's going to go to the 0, 0 spot. So in order to identify the base point that you want to use, you're going to take the output for sun points and connect it to the base. So you can see it automatically moved those spheres. They still look a little not so great. You can adjust the radius. So say you wanted to make the radius smaller. I'm just going to create a slider from 1 to 5. and see what 1 does. 1's too small. Let's do 2. Oh, 3 looks kind of good. 3's a good place. Now it's still not looking the way we want it to, so you can use the mesh spray command, and you can use that to color it to whatever color you want it to be. Now again, this mesh spray, we're just going to set this to 0, 0 as the point, and connect that here. And we'll need a color swatch, so I'll copy the pre-existing color swatch here, double click on it, and just change the color. I'm going to make my sun's orange and connect that there. Now you can see that the sun path changed, and now we have an orange sun. I'll hide the preview on that so we don't see it. And that's how you can show sun location on your sun path. There's also, if you don't want to false color the meshes, what you can do, I'm going to disconnect my mesh and I'll just turn the visibility off on these so we don't see them. Let's turn the preview off. Okay. You can, similar to the legacy version, you can take a dry bulb temperature and connect that to the data input, and that will false color automatically. It will create a mesh and false color automatically based on the temperature during the time period in your analysis period. So if I were to increase my analysis period, say I wanted to go from January 1st to the end of the year, and all hours of the day, now you can see that more colorful sun path with the whole year's weather data charted on the sun positions. All right, so now that we've done that, say you have a building in your geometry and it's quite tall and you want to move your sun path and you want to change your north direction because north isn't quite up. So that's pretty, there's a couple of steps you can take to do that. You will connect a slider similar to the windrows where you'll do negative 360 to 360 as a slider to the north arrow, and then you can set north. So let's go to top view. So say north is not quite, it's going to take a while to, well, I've set my north to 20 degrees and it's in the northwest direction. And you can create a point. So let's add a point here. And I'm going to go back to perspective and I'm just going to choose a point that I want to use. And of course there's a parametric way that you can do this. For now, I'm just going to use a point, set that 1 point, hide the preview, and connect that to center point in my sun path, and that will automatically move my sun path. So now we've adjusted the north, we've changed where the sun path is located, but it's quite small. So what I'm going to do is I'd actually like to scale it up. So I'll connect a slider and I'm just going to test maybe 3 times larger. Take that slider and connect it to scale. And now we were able to make that sun path larger and to the size that we needed to kind of clear our geometry. And there you go. That's how you would make your sun path larger. Now, if you wanted to isolate certain conditions of the year within this analysis period, you can use a conditional statement to extract only certain data sets. So say you wanted to identify temperatures that fell greater than 24 degrees, and this is in Celsius. So I'll create a panel that says greater than 24. I believe that should be, sorry, it should be A equals where A is greater than 24, and connect that statement there, and it should identify. So these are all the hours of the year where the temperature is actually greater than 24. You can change that to be a number between a certain range. So if you want to know when is a temperature only between 23 and 24, you can modify your formula and it should adjust automatically. Okay. So there's of course a legend parameters that you can there's a separate video for that. You can use the legend parameters to adjust your temperature range in the top view here, so that you can set a low bound and a high bound that you want to work with. And so the options are quite unlimited. Okay, that's all I wanted to show you in this video. Thank you so much for watching.